All right, Madison Juergens is with us. Madison, just talk a little about playing 3 matches in 5 days and just the grind and what you have to prepare to and get yourself ready to do that. How to do that?
I mean, yeah, it was kind of tough. I think it's a mental a mental game at that point. I think preseason we go through playing 3 matches in 2 days and sometimes 2 in 1 day. So I think it's just staying mentally focused and then obviously getting better in the practices that you have to be able to prepare for those next games when you only have 1 practice in between. But I think overall we stayed mentally focused and got better through each game this weekend. Yeah.
I mean, you can call it a weekend. It's a holiday. I mean,
Long weekend.
Extended weekend. And the balance of the offensive attack again today, like it was on Saturday, when you have 5 players again with 2 or more kills per set. Mm-hmm. How important is that? Or I mean, that obviously has to be a big, huge, plus to the team.
Yeah, I think it makes our offense a lot harder to stop. Teams have to prepare to defend one person, and then another person can go off at any moment. And I think what's hard about it is our middles. Some people key in on our middles, and they'll have our pins ready, and then they'll switch to a game plan for the next set, and then we'll go back to the middles. And I think that just makes us a lot harder to defend and a lot harder to stop in those in-system situations, which our defense did great in getting us in those situations tonight. So it's, really important.
Just touch a little bit on something coming back. Everybody coming back this season. Most of the hitters were back. Just something every week that you continue to work on to fine-tune that connection between you and the hitters.
I think we just a lot of communication during the game, during practice. We pretty much know what's wrong with the connection at the time, and I think we try to work through those things. I think there's different challenges every week, but I think we're really familiar with each other to be able to give that feedback. So I think it'll continue to get better all season, but I like where we're at right now.
And heading into a big weekend,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the last 2 matches are the first time through the rotation. Obviously, really probably looking forward to that, aren't we?
Yes, very much.
Just talk about, obviously you see where Omaha is in the standings. You see Denver, the rivalry and just where they're picked. I wouldn't say added pressure, but is there added motivation or added emphasis on those particular matches?
We talk about going 1-0 every game, and I think that's definitely going to have to be our mentality this weekend. No matter the outcomes, we're going to have to focus on that game in front of us and not really look forward, which I think is what we did this weekend. We knew we had these 2 big games at the end of the conference season, and I think it's a good mental challenge for us to come out of those 3 games and then have to play those 2 teams back to back in a weekend. But like I said, just focusing on going 1-0, keeping 1 game at a time, I think will be key for us.
Thanks, Madison.
Thank you.
Coach Williamson, just go ahead and give us an opening statement.
I was happy with our team's performance overall tonight. We've worked a lot, I think, even in these just last couple days, which is hard because we didn't have a lot of full practices here, really trying to shore up our defense efforts and just making sure that we're more prepared for what's coming at us, whether it's tips, rolls, hard-driven shots, and I think tonight it kind of paid off and showed as we dug a lot more balls. 53 digs in a match like that where the other team only has 14, and 17 points is a good number, and I think it allowed us to have multiple opportunities to score the ball too. Made them hit negative, which is a really good stat to see, again, especially with us having maybe struggled in that area a little bit in these last 2 matches. So I was happy to see them come out and play that level of defense overall. And then offensively, Jergs mentioned it a little bit, but I think we had different people step up at different moments, and I think that was good to see. Amy had a really good first set, kind of cooled off there in the second and the third, but then other people came out a little bit stronger. Sammy in the second and third was much stronger. Junkie had some great swings there, and then Harms hitting, 460 and 7 kills. We were balanced again, and something that you've heard us say a lot. All of our hitters, our main starting hitters were at 2 kills a set or more, so that was really good to see again. And then surveying, and we had a few more errors today, a little bit more high error. I think we had 4 or 5 in the second set, which is about half of our errors, but again, eight aces, so good to see there. I just think overall much better team effort. It was definitely a team win today.
And to get through that second grouping of 3 matches in 5 days as we get ready to close out the first time through the rotation. How big was that to just get sweeps and to continue to spend less time on the floor?
It's huge. Anytime you can come away with a sweep, which is something we just talked about, is to have that 3-game stretch and be able to sweep all 3 opponents, I think is a really good sign for us and something that was important for us. I mean, going into this weekend, obviously it's going to be a challenging weekend, but we have the 1 day off, 1 practice, then we have to compete again at a high level. So anytime you can get out of here in 3, it's a positive. The thing that I was actually, again, the most excited about is I actually think this was probably the cleanest of the 3 matches that we played overall. And to do that on the 3rd match after not really having a full practice and being able to get better through that stretch was really good to see. But looking forward to a day off tomorrow. I know our players are looking forward to a day off tomorrow, and then we'll get back in the gym and prepare for next weekend.
And talk a little about defensively holding them to a negative hitting percentage, like you said. I mean, obviously that's got to be a big stat line there too.
Yeah, it's hard to do. I mean, it's hard to get a team to hit negative. But, you know, 1, obviously our defensive efforts, I think, helped. 2, we got them out of system a decent amount. I thought a couple people went on some really good serving runs. And anytime teams are out of system, they're usually going to be a little bit higher error. So that was good to see as well. I think our middles followed the game plan pretty well, slowed down their middles, which have been kind of their 2 more efficient attackers at times. And, again, it's a good step for us being able to make some of those switches.
And lastly, we talked a lot about this first time through the rotation. Obviously, getting Omaha and Denver at the end of this first time rotation, you get to see where you're at kind of in the summer league, see where you're at building wise, coming off a tough non-conference season. That was obviously a big plus or a big schedule wise. I mean, a big key too.
You know, honestly, when you look at the schedule, I think you could say that that's a tough weekend to play when we are, you know, after the 2 stretches of the midweek, the 3 matches in 5 days. But I honestly think that this is exactly where it should have been. I think we needed a little bit of time to work through some things, to kind of see where we struggled and where we are good. And I think we've been able to capitalize on some of our strengths and fix some of our weaknesses. And as that happens, it's going to be a process. And I think going into this weekend, I think we're much more prepared now that we are where we are in this season. So again, looking forward to a really hard weekend, you know, exciting volleyball, hopefully to be played. But it's going to be a tough challenge for us, but one that I think our team is ready for.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.